So let us start a project first. Okay. So now everybody must be in a position to understand what is project. Can anyone tell me what is project in terms of your definition, Madam Madhavi? Now speak loudly. Don't waste my time and your time. When I ask you, if you know the answer, say loudly. If you don't know the answer, sit calm so that other people also will get a knowledge. What is project? Every college, everyone would have been completed a project, final year project, right, madam? In your academics, what is project? Simple.
Work on some technologies to make a product.
Work on some technologies to make a product. See, even though product is different, project is different. Product is also, it's a kind of one project. So two types of applications, sir. Two types of applications when you are talking about static applications, dynamic project. What is a project? As he said, project is solving some sort of real world problems. Solving real world problems by using technology. This is where the project comes into the picture. And all you people have to listen first. Don't waste your time on writing. Listen first. I'll give you either, yes, first we'll try to build a static application. Once you are familiar with static, Lakshmi, you can listen. That's what I'll keep on saying. Okay, this session is completely for you. We are recording. Live session, it is recording. So that this will be shared to you. So first of all, you have to understand what is static first, static application. Then slowly, if you are good at backend, you will be converting static into a dynamic. Now, I don't want you people to waste your time on dynamic at this case. We can focus majorly on the static. So to build a static applications, but every application or every project is going to solve the real world problems. Okay. What is the real world problems? Yes, please. So what is real world problems? And if you take an example of one project, any project, if you see all the e-commerce, we'll try to take e-commerce applications. What is the domain which I'm going to explain first? E-commerce domain. You all can see the screen. What is e-commerce domain and how the e-commerce application is solving the problem? First, we'll understand that. Okay, sir. So now whatever the technology that you are going to learn from now, you have to start building this application from the scratch, from zero level to the master level that you must learn. Hope you all understand. So here, what sort of problem that e-commerce applications are solving? If you ask me, the first problem, user need not to go to the store now. And it is saving the time. Earlier, users has to go to the store. They should buy the product. But by using e-commerce, you can sit at your comfortable place. You can start surfing for a comfortable products. Right, sir? So even the Bangalore, I can even buy by sitting at my location at Bangalore, I can buy a product which are there in US. They will also shift to Bangalore as well. So if the technology is not there, how this is possible? E-commerce is solving the problems of selling and buying. Am I making sense? Now, second problem, if you take Ola and Uber, those guys are also solving the problems, transportation problems. Swiggy, they are solving food problems, food delivery. See, in the olden days, if you all can see, our working lifestyle, our lifestyle to work is morning 9 to 6:30. That is how our forefathers, they used to work. But the moment when the India is connected with the world, now our working timings also change. Shift timings are there. 9:30 to 6:30 is a general shift. 2 to 10 is a UK shift. Evening 6:30 to 3 o'clock is a US shift. And Australian shift, German shift, because the world is connected, right, sir? By sitting at India, you can work for US. By sitting at India, you can work for UK. So that is where a different kind of time zones, different kind of work culture is there. That is where people have to eat a food, isn't it? And even midnight 2 o'clock, if I'm feeling hungry, is it possible for me to prepare a food at that time? That is where Swiggy, Zomato, all these guys are available so that you can order. Every project is created for a purpose. Please understand. See, now, if you are joining in a session, if you people understand that the session is only for upskilling, no, this session is not for learning any technology. This session is for learning technology and solving the real world problems by using these technologies. First and foremost thing, I'll try to take any e-commerce application. First, today we'll try to speak more about e-commerce features. Then by using HTML, by using CSS, by using JavaScript, by using React, how are we going to build a e-commerce application? That is what you must learn first. Okay. Now, I hope, what do you mean by static? What do you mean by dynamic? I'll also explain, then I'll try to move on to the project folder structure. The moment when I started creating a folder structure, you should also start creating the same structure again. Whatever I say, just follow the same. Okay. So first, what do you mean by static? What is static application? So for that, I'm going to explain you. Guys, listen carefully. First, let me talk about what is static applications. What is this? This is a computer. Am I making sense? So in order to access any websites or any web applications, the people are going to use their device. Either this device is a desktop or a laptop or mobile, whatever it is. So users, what users are going to do? Any users, whoever it is, and they'll be keep accessing. Guys, listen. These users are using their personal computers or maybe any devices. They'll be keep accessing this system for browsing, right, sir? Either one or two or many, whatever it is. Now, whatever the data that we are presenting here, if the data is inside, for every application, I think you people have already seen logo. Every application logo is there or not? It's a general knowledge. After that, there is a menus, primary menus. After that, there will be a slide bar. And there is a left side bar. There will be a right side bar and footer. This is called layout. What is this? Whatever we are constructing in a page, that is known as layout. If you divide an empty page into bits and pieces, which is called as layout. empty page divided into bits and pieces according to the requirement given by the client. Now, these users, do you think that these guys are a programmers? These users are known as end users. What we can call? These all terminologies are important. End users. End users, they don't care about what technology that application is built. For them, if they click on any item inside a web page, if it works, they'll be happy. If it is not working, they are not going to happy. And these end users, you must satisfy. These guys should be happy. If these guys, how to make these guys happy? That is where you people come into the picture. Who? Front-end engineers. And whatever the data that is there here, if the data is static, even if user 1 clicks on an item, the data is static. If the user 2 clicks an item, the data is static. Even if user 3 clicks on a web page, the data is static. Please understand. And the data is not going to change for a user to user. And the data is always static. If the data is quite common for every user, upon the user interactions, if the website content is not changing, that particular application is called as static. Please understand, sir. That application is known as static. Now, one best example, I think in e-commerce, there is a return policy. Am I making sense? Return policy. In case if you buy a product, if you don't like that particular product for any reasons or any damage, there is a return policy. You have to read that return policy as well. A return policy in India, it is quite common for you, for her, for him, for everyone. It is a same policy, right, sir? Is there any different policy? No. And that data is quite common. I can call that page is a static page. Yes, of course, I can call that page as a static page. But think about it. When you click on maybe a laptop, Apple laptop, file has to. She is looking for Apple laptop. Think about it. She joined Amazon or Flipkart website. She searched for Apple. So Apple category appears. If she clicks, all Apple related products are coming. Rishita maybe she need a iPhone, something like that. She need a laptop, she need an iPhone. Apple iPhone she is searching, something like that. And she is getting a specific to her search query. Specific to her search query. These two people, according to their search query, the data is coming from the back end. Same users, same application, isn't it? But the different search query. But the data is coming different. That application is called as dynamic. Okay, so every point is important here. You don't have any option to remove any one concept from my sessions. Please listen carefully. While working on companies, we'll try to build a both combination of static versus dynamic. Both, even single application or single project, there will be a static pages and less static pages, more dynamic. 20% only we will try to build a static pages. Remaining 80% we'll try to build a dynamic. So now I'll tell you how to build a static pages. If this application is not connected, if this front-end system is not connected to any backend, not connected to any backend, which is purely known as static. If the application is not connected to any backend, I can call this one as a static application. If an application is connected, which means that if the application is connected to the backend, that application is called as dynamic application. For dynamic applications, you guys have to learn backend. For static applications, you guys have to learn front end. If you don't know front end and backend, you cannot create a project. Nowadays, the trend is companies are looking for students or learners or aspirants who can be able to build up projects. Who is having a skill, who is having a degree, they don't care. Who is able to build a project, that is where companies are coming forward to hire them. Now that is where our approach is also I'm changing. Let us first start giving the project information. For that, what are the pages? I think last class I have built one page. Header I built, footer I have built. Same way for this project also, I and my team is going to build a couple of pages. With the help of same, we are educating you how to build a page. Same concept you have to apply for building page 2, page 3, page N. Okay, madam. So in that way, if you do it, I'm sure minimum to minimum 5 projects and maximum 10 projects, if you build, you'll be strong enough and you will be one among 10%, not in 90%. 90% of the students are static. That is where they are not getting a jobs. And if you build a project like this, 101% you will get a project because we are in 10% people list. Great people will try to do great works. Age is not going to stop you. Your problem should not stop you. Have a point. Your community should not stop you. And don't ever try to think that I don't have any friend or any family member who can guide you. I'm your family member if you treat me. I'm your friend if you treat me. I'm your brother if you treat me. I will try to take you guys completely. I'll make you dynamic. But you have to come regularly. Madam, come regularly. Start learning more so that you can also keep earning more if you learn more. Done. So first, we'll start building a static applications first. We'll always build a static. Once you build a static applications, but I'll explain the architecture of dynamic as well. Slowly we'll build a static, then we'll move on to the dynamic later. Okay, let me complete the web architecture, what companies are going to follow. This is static. If the client mission, these guys are clients. If these guys are connected, any system that is known as a client mission. If the client system is not connected to the database, which is called a static. Okay, so then let me see how dynamic architecture is created. It is a quite common 3-tier architecture. I might need a DB server, database server, DB. So even nowadays, people are using SQL, NoSQL, whatever it is. Database is required for me. Am I making sense, sir? I am going to store a data in my database. What is a database for a human? Very good. Brain is a database. Now, for the same way, even for a project company also, for every project, we might need a data which is going to display permanently. We need a data to display for our end users. So if the data is not stored, it is very tough for a administrator to display the data into the client. Okay, sir. So listen carefully. Either I can use a database, RDBMS and RDBMS, Relational Database Management System, and NoSQL. 2 kinds of database categories are there. One is table-based, second one is table-less, without table, with table. If you guys are using a table-based layouts, that is known as SQL-based, SQL. If you are using table-less, that is called NoSQL. MongoDB is an example for NoSQL. DynamoDB is an example for NoSQL. Cassandra is an example. And when it comes to the SQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL, MySQL, this all comes under table. And there is a reason behind some project people are going for table based, some project they will go for no table based. So that is different story. That is none of your business to think. Why? Because you are going to work as a fresher, either are a fresher or maybe 2 to 3 years experience, not more than that. Am I making sense? If you put 5 years experience, they will ask you to lead a team. And you yourself don't know anything, but how are you going to lead? That's my point. Learn, but don't overlearn. Eat, don't overeat. Over is always problem. Here also, I'll try to always restrict you people how much you must learn. I don't want you to learn unwanted or extra. Extra always creates a problem. Yes, it is benefit in case if you know fundamentals first. Fine. So now, according to the web architecture, guys, these two systems, if you all can see, now these two systems, they should not be in a position to connect. These two systems, they should not connect. Why they should not get connected? Not connect. Which means what I'm trying to say, we should not allow these two systems to directly interact with each other. The reason is database is a sensitive layer, which always have a sensitive data. Okay. If client is a non-sensitive layer because it is secureless. Client is always secureless. Anybody can see the code which is written inside a client machine. By mistakenly, if you guys are not using a middleware, think about it. Who is a middleman? Application server. In case if you are using any server, this is where you guys have to play with that. Backend comes into the picture, boss. Why? Because these client missions, if they directly connect to the database, this is prohibited. They should not connect. That is where who is the middleman? Backend. The request should always place from a client to server. And this is called request. What we can call it as request. And again, server has to process the same request by altering something, and it has to send a request back to the database. This is also request. And database, what it will do, it will start preparing a response for the request which is placed by server. This is called response. And again, the server has to give a data back to the client. End of the day, this is also called as response. End of the day, even these users, if the data, if you guys are not presenting here, if you are not presenting, the data we are going to present in this particular room, data presentation. If you guys are not presenting a data beautifully here and retaining these customers is tough. It is a tough job to retain a customer. As per the recent surveys, if the page loading time, if the page loading time is greater than 3 seconds, if it is a greater than 3 seconds, I'm not talking about a minutes, 3 seconds. If it is lesser than 3 seconds, then only it is easy for you to retain a customer. By mistakenly, if you are writing a wrong code, if the page takes more than 3 seconds to render the data, then it is gone case. Understand? That's why make sure this is not directly, we should not connect to the database. And the request should also go to the server backend, from their database, the response we have to collect. But this, how many systems are there? 3. That is where it is known as 3-tier architecture. What is that? 3-tier architecture. Hope you all understand what is 3-tier. In case sometimes some projects, now this is a client mission. Even if you take an example of e-commerce, it also have an n-tier. It is not just only 3-tier. Why? Because for a user also one application will be there. For a website admin also there will be one application. For a website manager also one application, isn't it? Amazon, do you think that only users will be there? In the admin, there are procurement team will be procuring the products. Inventory team is adding into the product, inventory database. And even though the warehouse team is maintaining the warehouse details, and delivery team is delivering the product, isn't it? And marketing team is marketing. There are multiple teams. Each team, there is a different system, right, sir? So if that is the case, every system is built with a 3-tier. So that which is a combination of multiple 3 tiers can be called as n-tier. And this is all theory that you would have already studied in your college. If you have not studied, then you have to study now. This is a quite common. This is how the architecture works behind the scenes. But we won't even understand anything. We chumma will go to Amazon, will buy, will enjoy. But we don't know how Amazon works. Another point. Now you are a software engineer, so you must learn each one of the concepts. If 3 systems are there, this is not called as a dynamic application. Now first, we'll disconnect these 2 systems who are there. This backend and database will try to disconnect. We'll try to build only this. Why? Because now you are learning front-end technologies. By using front-end, we can build a UI layer, user interface layer. So after that, once you are familiar with the UI, then you can go for a backend. Either you can use Java or Python or Node.js or .NET or PHP or Ruby on Rails, XYZ. That is up to you. That is your decision is taken by you. If you fail to take a decision, talk to us. I will try to help you. Okay, sir. Now I am going to build a static project. That to e-commerce. What is my domain name? E-commerce. Tomorrow, when you are going for an interviews, they will ask you what sort of domain knowledge that you have. If you say domain, I don't know what is that, then they will say get lost from here. Simple. If you are not understanding what is domain, how they are going to give a job? You are going to work in a software industry. In software industry, software is an industry where software engineers can be utilized every industry. Even mechanical engineers, engineering also need a softwares. Civil engineers require softwares. Aerospace engineers require software. What industry is not required software? Tell me. That is where today one of the biggest domain which generates multiple job openings is software. Not a hardware also. But software sounds like a wife, hardware sounds like a husband. And wife is important or husband is important. Both of them are important. But a key is with wives only. Seriously, key will be with wives. And that is where if whoever listen to the wives, they will grow. In fact, I am not listening to my wife. That is where I lost almost 25 lakhs. If I would have listened, I would have saved 25 lakhs. Seriously. After a huge loss, I am listening now. That is different story. Okay, boss. But we should know what to listen, what not to listen, and don't listen everything. Make sense? If you only to build this particular, this is called as presentation layer. This is known as application layer. And this is known as database layer. Nowadays, the trend is full stack. Now, full stack was, I'm an architect, okay. But nowadays, the full stack definition is completely polluted. And what full stack is all about, if I ask you, you will say that, sir, the one who knows front end, the one who knows back end, the one who knows database, they are calling us full stack. If that is your answer, you're absolutely wrong. Answer is, along with these three, the one who knows basics of DevOps. What is that? Development and operations, DevOps, and basics of cloud, either AWS or Azure. Basics, not in depth. And the basics of UI, UX, some sort of design also, designing. And basics of testing as well, which means that you are all-rounder, sir. It is not necessary to become an expert in these four, but you should be expert in these three: presentation, application, and database. But you should also be aware of what is your neighbor doing. How many layers are there in OS side? That is also important. For a project, definitely you must understand that. How many layers are there? 7 layers. If you guys are not aware, again, I'll try to teach you here just for your reference. Open system interconnection. This is one of the layer bus. In that only presentation layer, application layer, database layer is also part. Here, there are 7 layers are there. Today, you go to the internet and try to understand what all the 7 layers are there. Right from application layer and physical layer. 7 layers are there. Application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer. Finally, it is a physical layer. Each one of the layer, first to last, network, data link, and physical layer. These 3 layers are hardware layers. Application, presentation, and session. These 3 layers are software layers. This transportation layer is the one which is a backbone for a connectivity, transporting between software and hardware. Now, as a software engineer or a full stack engineer, you must learn all these 3 layers. That is where all these 3 is coming into the picture. Okay. So now, even we will try to teach you, whoever is enrolled for a full stack, will give an added advantage. But many places, what people will do, they will just teach you only HTML front end, back end, and database. They won't even teach DevOps fundamentals. But here it is not like that. We'll definitely teach whatever extra it is required. Then only you can claim saying that I'm a full stack engineer. Otherwise, you can say that I'm a web developer. Front end, back end, and database, if you know, you will be considered as a web developer. Please try to don't put yourself in trouble. If you know only 3, you claim that I'm a web developer. But if you know all, again, if you have a basic knowledge on how mobile application works, that is even more better than only web. Nowadays, every company is building a web as well as mobile. So that if you know how to build web applications, you can easily turn yourself as a mobile developer as well. Am I making sense? So now let me clear my board. Now, what sort of project that we are building now? E-commerce application. In the same e-commerce, first, I'll try to draw an outline of my project. What I'm going to do? Outline. Maybe, for example, if I am start building, can you please give me any one particular project name? E-commerce में we can also sell electronics, we can sell electrical, we can sell food, we can sell vegetables, we can sell anything. Which field you are liking? Tell me. Agriculture field? Electrical. Okay. I just need a pole here. He likes electrical. You, madam? Gold and silver ornaments. Now, which one you like? Tell me. Gold. She like gold. You? Cloths. Cloths. Then same with him. Electrical. Cloths. 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 Fruits and vegetables. Say loudly. Agriculture. Agriculture. So here, majority of the people are looking for cloths. So let us go with a cloth. I'm going to build a cloth store. The majority is cloth. So that I'll build a cloth store. If you like electrical store, you build it. If you like gold store, you build it. If you like cloths, okay. If someone else like agriculture, you also, the concept remains same. But categories it can. But if any one product, we can keep all of them also inside. That's my point. But I'll try to take your cloths. Maybe what I can say, I'll create a brand name that is called project name. Can you give me any one project? Now there are multiple brands out there. Arrow, Levi's, Louis Phillips. No, see your own brand. I just wanted to give your own. Mintra, Santra is already over. Let's create our own brand. Panchatantra, Sheila, Hila, spelling FILASR is nominating name as Hila. Okay, we don't want to crack our brain on what is the name. That name can be anything. Okay, I'm building a Hila Mintra, like that. Hila is our shopping project. So first of all, the outline of this project is it is going to solve a problem. We are going to sell a beautiful clothes. Either it may be a kids category is different. So, but how many modules will be here? First, we have to check. What is that? Modules. How many modules? The first and foremost thing, we don't want to create many user modules. What is that? Users. For users, we have to build a UI, right, sir? Next, internally, there will be an admin module. Admins also will be there. Who is admin? Whoever is maintaining the backend part of this particular fila, those guys are called as administrators. Maybe procuring a product. In order to highlight, I mean to say, if you want to display the product information in presentation layer, somewhere backend we have to update it, right, na sir? If admin system buy a product from a different manufacturers, if they are not adding that into the database, then front end won't even display. Okay, now understand the domain knowledge. I'm just teaching you all this. Now we'll try to build only user partner. I'm just giving a user flow diagram. This is how we have to plan. It is not something like directly people ask you to write a Java code, Python code, Python code. You don't know where to implement, where to integrate. So this is not the way. That's where today I am just allocating a project for all of you guys. In that CSS, HTML, JavaScript, React, Bootstrap, everything you have to build. You have to use that languages to build this technology. But next, in user, either first and foremost page, we have to create a home page. What is the page that we have to create? Home page. This page is known as index page. What we can call it as home page as index page. Makes sense, sir? Then after that, in home page, we have to display all the beautiful images of all our products. And are we going to display every product there in a home page itself? We cannot display. Why we cannot display? Because first impression is the best impression. In the home page, if you display thousands of products, the scroll bar of a home page will be increased. And do you think that is that easy for a user to select out of 1,000 product is easy, selecting out of 10 product is easy? Huh? Yes, out of 10 selecting is easy. But if you select 1,000, then oh my God, confusion. That is where sometimes we'll go to mall, too many options, too much confusion. We'll end up saying that I don't like any product here because too many options. But in a villages, if you can see, only either one or two shops will be there. That is where quickly we'll select and we'll close our options. Am I making sense? And also for all the guys, I'm saying, don't dare to go to the shopping with your girls. Please give the money, ask them to do whatever you want to do it. But if you go there, if you decide 10,000 as a budget, they will definitely make you to purchase 20,000. Double. If you're not going there, they will finish their shopping with 10,000 only. And I personally experienced, even recently, yesterday also my wife went to DMart. I asked her, what is the budget? She said, sir, 20,000. I gave 20,000. Then I dropped off. Okay, see, again, send me to 5,000, sir. 25,000 rupees. If I was there, it would have at least somewhere around 30,000-40,000. Be careful, okay? Satya, this is a free of cost. I'm teaching all these lessons without taking any paisa. Come back to the cards. The second page is product listing page, PLP pages. What is that? Product listing, general discussion of e-commerce I'm talking. Second page is product listing page, where you can list all the products. Maybe filter also you can give in the left-hand side of a product. You can give a filter categories, kids, adults, sports, and even swims, something like that. We can give a different categories. This is called PLP, product listing page. That is how terminologies we used to use in IT. Then PDP, product details page. What is the next page? Product details page. If user clicks, some people they like, okay, if they know the product, in the listing itself, they will see that and they will buy. But some people, they wanted to know more about it. That is where if you click, it will take you to the next page. That is called navigation. In that, it will be that page as a in detail about that particular product. That is where we will call it as a PDP, product details page. After that, we should also have a cart page. What is that? Cart. If user clicks on cart, the product has to add. That all you are going to do that. I'm sure one day you definitely will build an e-commerce application with all features. You'll feel so happy. You can even share that information with your friends and family members saying that, hey, this application, this kind of application I have built. I know this. I know how add to cart works. I know how delete works. I know this, all this you can explain clearly. Cart. Once the product is added to the cart, what is the next step? Check out. What do you have to do? Check out. This page also you have to build. Checkout page we have to build. Then after that, in the checkout page, there is an option for you to go place. What you have to do? Order. End of the day, you are going to place an order. That's the point. So after placing an order, see, till checkout, you need not to register into an account. Please understand the functionality, how it works. Till checkout, you need not to register. Once you want to place an order, there are two types of users will be there again. Here, when you are placing an order, we have to check the user type. User type, we must check. First, what is the user type? First user type is, I can check here, either guest user or registered. This is also programmatically we have to check. If the registered user means, then what is the next page? Is the registered user login. we have to take them to the login page. On successful login, we have to take them to the dashboard. This is also one of the page. Sir, am I boring you all? Dashboard page. These many pages that you have to build now. Then how many projects, how many pages are there? Guest user need not to create any page, nothing. Guest user, you can't even take them to the dashboard. Directly you can place an order. You can give your email ID. Okay, so they will try to send it to your address. And in case if you want to track and if you want to see all the information, you might not be able to see as a guest user. But if you want to, if you create an account, you will be having a lot of advantages. The story is different. That is functionality wise. Now, if you all can say how many pages that we have to build for a user, minimum to minimum. But according to the application, it will change a lot of features. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Registration is 1, 7. Login is another page. 8. Dashboard pages 9. Maybe here, if the user is registered, sometimes there is a chances that you are going to forget the password. For that, there is another page. You have to build a, however, login page is there for a registered user forgot password. This is also one page. Next, sometimes, maybe if you wanted to change the password, change password. Am I making sense, sir? In case if you wanted to change the profile picture of you, user profile. What is user profile? You can create your profile also, sir. And this is again, there is a different kind of pages. Now, if you ask me, we can deep dive and it will be, the pages are going to keep increasing. Let us stop here. Okay. In order to create this project, to create this project, what is the technologies that you have to build? First and foremost thing, next I'm going to talk about technologies. For building all this, what I'm going to tech stack. We will call this one as tech stack. Sir, you have to have a knowledge, solid knowledge on HTML. All the versions you have to have a knowledge. Then you must also have a knowledge on CSS for styling. Then at last, you can also have a knowledge on JS. JavaScript is for interactions, CSS is for styling, HTML is for layout, page creation. This 3 is important, but this 3 is not sufficient enough for building a large scale application. That is where CSS frameworks are there. BT, that is called Bootstrap. You can also use. For time being, the framework, if you use, it will improve your development time. You need not see, if without using a Bootstrap or any CSS frameworks, if you start building a page, think about it, if the page takes 2 days or 3 days to build, either home page or PDP page or PLP page, if it takes 2 days or 3 days, by using a CSS frameworks, within 2 hours or 3 hours, you can build it. You can save a lot of time. Think about it. If the time saves, software development companies will get a benefit, right? Instead of 6 months, instead of paying salaries for an employees, if the same project, if they can get it done within 2 months, 4 months of salaries that they are saving. That's why the companies are looking for a developer who knows advanced concepts. But if you want to understand advanced, you must know the fundamentals first. Even in JavaScript also, we'll be keep learning latest frameworks like Angular or React. Now React is more popular, so that we will be teaching that stack. So, okay, first we'll try to build using this. Sir, now it is a time, according to your project, this is all about, project flow. Makes sense? This is how you have to draw. Now this Fila project, once you decide you are going to use a tech stack of these technologies, then the next one is you have to go for a folder structure. What is the next step? Folder. project folder structure, sir. You must use project folder structure. See, my project name is first folder you have to create with your project name. What is my project name? E-commerce. Fila. F-I-L-A is my project name. So now use a project name as a folder. Inside that, your project might need all the assets. What I can do? I can create all the assets. Under the assets folder, what I can do? I can create a images folder. Images are also part of asset, right, Rishita? Now you are only suggested shopping, but you see is about to sleep now. Huh? Are you comfortable?
It's tired from yesterday's journey, so.
You are tired yesterday journey,
Whole day was
traveling here and there. Take rest today.
No, sir, I'm fine.
You are fine.
Just because of the tiredness, I was yawning. I'm not sleepy. I'm listening.
Okay, super. Okay, fine. Come back to the concept. See, assets, what we can do, images. Images is also required. Why? Because e-commerce applications, the whole attraction relies on the images. If you're beautiful images, if you're not placing beautifully, the users won't like it. Why? Because if it is a physical product store, users will go and they will try to touch and feel the sense of a product. Sometimes there is a trial room, they will try to trial and they will experience and they will see the appearance of the dress. But whereas coming to the online, whatever picture speaks, that is where they have to take a decision, right, sir? But your picture quality must be really good. That is where you have to talk to the designing team always. The designing team is the one who is going to give a right quality, high quality images. That's okay. All the images you have to keep it inside your images folder. Next, there will be one more folder under in the assets itself. For styling, CSS you have to create. One more folder, CSS. All the CSS rules with respect to your project, you must be in a position to add into the CSS. Here in CSS also, one is global CSS files that you have to create. Global CSS rules we have to create at one particular file. I'll tell you what is global CSS slowly. And next, one more you can use page specific CSS. What is that? Page specific CSS. Okay, so I'll tell you in case if the rules of CSS, if you are using for all the pages, that is called global. If one CSS rule I'm using in page 1, same rule if I'm using in page 2, page 3, page N, then that CSS rule is known as global rule. That global rules can be placed in a global CSS file. And if I'm using one rule only for a home page, I don't want to use in PDP, PLP page. In that case, what I can do? Space specific. This is how this is separation of concern. Folder structure is very important. Maybe in case if you are using any framework, framework will have its own structure. Framework have its own structure. Okay, sir. So after CSS, you can also write JavaScript, JS, JavaScript code, JavaScript files also you can write. Even in JavaScript, global JavaScript, global versus page specific page. That is what you must be in a position to write. See, tomorrow, for example, if you are not following this proper structure, you are troubling others. Your colleagues are also facing difficulties to understand. It sounds like maybe if your mother is not organized all the items in your kitchen. However, if you start preparing anything, you have to make a call to your mother and you have to ask, Mummy, where is salt, pepper, all this you have to keep asking. If she well organized, any new person enters into the kitchen. If the structure of that kitchen is really good, then no special education is not really required to understand. That is where global standards we must follow. Even the folder structure, what I am building today, if any worst fellow comes also, they can easily understand my folder structure. I am building my own. But while working on live applications, every framework has their own structure. That's different story. A little bit advanced. We'll try to talk that concepts a bit later also. Now I am just building my own project from the scratch. I am only building the structure. I am only building the folders. I am only building the files. So that is where this is a manual way of creating a folder structure of your project. All the JS files, you can put it inside a assets folder. After that, in case if you are using any libraries, moving forward, I'm sure you will be using a lot of libraries which are free of cost. So in order to use that libraries, you place it libraries inside a libs folder. So that if any colleague or if you visit this project after a couple of months, libs is containing libraries, JavaScript is JavaScript files. Nowadays, I have seen some other student, laptop, everything is there in the desktop only. Their desktop is worst. And when I ask her to share the code, she's searching. Oh my God. So search itself, she took almost 15 minutes to share the one file. Why? Because our structure is completely changed. Make sense? Hope you all understand what I'm trying to explain. Sir, after assets, is there any HTML so far? No, now actual HTML files you have to write. How many pages are there as I discussed? Index.html. This is a home page. You have to create a home page in the name of index. Why? It is very important. You cannot change different names. Why index? Logical name it is index. The reason is, even if you open a book, to understand what is the book, what are the concepts, where is the pages which is linked to the chapters, whatever you want to understand, what is that page is known as? It's a content or maybe index. We'll call it as an index. Similarly, do you think that user is directly coming to the, checkout page? As a logic wise, we should allow user to enter into the index page first. However, in a home also, we'll allow guest or maybe your relatives or close relatives or your any blood relatives, whatever it is, you will allow them first inside your restroom or kitchen or hall, isn't it? Have you ever seen any architecture? Yeah, he's a guest, go to the restroom. He's my blood relative, go to the kitchen. Such kind of options are there? No. The first room is hall, isn't it? From there, we'll try to allow that is where authorization comes into the picture. Dimag mein rakho, sir. I'm not teaching anything nonsense here. Everything is sense. If the user is an authorized user, then the private areas he can enter. If he is a guest user, he'll restrict himself only for a public area. That is how we have a restrictions, right, Nasir? If I come to your home, will you allow me to into your almare, secret almare, and show me all the dynamite, even though I am your guru? Hey, guru, get lost. I don't want you to enter into my. Maybe some extra you will take me to the kitchen or maybe garden, isn't it? Hope you understand. That is called role-based. Is also interesting, quite interesting. Is also role-based, sir. Roles. That also it is important. Tomorrow, if you guys are not aware of what is roles, user is one role, admin is another role, project manager is another role, team lead is another role. These are all different kind of roles. Based upon the roles only, we can give a permissions to access the pages. As a user, do you have a permission to delete a product from Amazon? We are not an admin, but admin have a privileges to delete it. As a user, what I can do, I can surf and I can add them into the cart. That's all. But if you fight and file a case against Amazon saying that I need to delete a product from your website, they will take you to the Andaman. Please understand the roles. Come back to the concept. Index is the main page. From their navigation. A proper navigation will take you to the proper pages. After that, what is the second page? Product listing page, I said. Product listing. For that, in case, if the products, if I'm based upon the category, if my product category, even clothes also, there are many categories are there, right? If it is a kids, let me play with the kids dot HTML. So that this particular kids file will contain all the kid related items. In case if you wanted to go to the next category, maybe adults or teenagers or XYZ category, you can create one page, which is going to combine all the pages. Now, this is one category. Second one, once the category PLP is created, then in kids also give me one particular product name. Different kind of dress styles are there, right? What is the kids dress? I don't know. Casuals next. Nightwear next. Frogs. Okay, party wear. Okay, let me go to party wear. Party wear .html. So if I click on partywear.html, even this party wear, there will be a lot of products. Then in that one product, can you please give me one product, madam? Party wear. Frogs. Okay, let me go back. Maybe frogs. If you click on now PDP, we can go for a each click. If you click frogs, what is the spelling? CKS, frogs dot HTML. Here, if you click, it has to give a detailed page. Am I making sense? Like that, as per the business requirement, we'll be keep changing. All the files are storing where? Inside a root directory of your So after that, we should also have one more page. What is the next page? Cart page. If user clicks on add to cart, we have to store them into the cart. After that, we should also allow checkout page. Then in the checkout may, there is an option to place a order button. Once the place an order, we can either check the, let us build up to here. After that, we'll try to keep moving on to the place order, login page, all this. This is generally flow. Am I making sense? Now, when you are working on a project, this is how your project folder. Can you create a folder like this? Now it is a time for all of you guys to create a folder structure, whatever I defined here. So immediately open up your laptop. I'll try to give you 5 to 10 minutes of time. Create a folder structure like this. Next, inside a global, here, guys, all you have to do is, the file name is styles.css. File, it is not a folder. Guys, kindly understand what is file versus folder. So next you have to create one more file. Maybe if you are building a home page, the second file you can use for a home page. What is a home page that I have built here? What is my home page name? Index, right? I can create one more file called index.css. These guys are files. When I say file, right click, create a file. The text file is there. Give an extension as .css. Then in JavaScript also, you create one more file called script scripts dot .js. Script dot JS, or let me use custom.js. What is that? Main.js file. I'll keep one file as main.js, then page specific. For example, if I'm writing any JavaScript for index page, I'll make it as one more file called index.js. Okay, sir. Libraries folder mein just keep as it is. Don't write anything. Libraries just keep as it is. Complete it. Next, index.html is a file. Kids.html, partywear.html, frocks, cart, cart.html, checkout.html, all this you must have to create. This also cart.html. Then next page, you can also create checkout.html. Index.html is not a folder, madam. You have to create as a file. Delete that folder. Right click, delete. Delete. Delete button है ना उधर delete करो. Select and delete.